Alright gentlemen, everything will be timestamped in the description below. Before we get into the heavy builds, I do prefer the plasma pistol on the heavy, and I will talk about it at the end of the video. So for our first build here, we have the heavy bolter. Now all three of his primary weapons are extremely powerful and can all do, like 25k plus damage, a piece. So they're all very strong. So for the heavy bolter, how we're going to set this up with our class perks is you really wanting thermal boost, because every time you're 50% overheated, you are going to do 15% more damage, as well as you're going to want to take restoration as well. You kill 10 enemies in rapid succession a lot with this weapon. And then personally, I like Bonds of Brotherhood for my team perk, but you could take additional supplies. That is a preference thing. And then as well as I like Power Regulator for my Iron Halo to reduce 15% more slowly. And when it comes to our weapon perks here, what you're seeing down there is the ammo version. So with the ammo version, you're going across the whole top row, getting all the ammo you can, and then you're dipping down for the headshot hunter, and as well as perpetual penetration for extra shot penetrates additional targets. So both of those perks very strong, and then you're going to have a ton of ammunition. But the heavy stance build is a very strong build as well, because it's going to give you a lot more the spread decrease, and it just makes this feel like a laser beam. So very, very strong. Both of them are good. It's really a preference. I prefer the heavy stance when I can run it and I'm not worrying about ammo too much. That's the one that I like to run. When it comes up next, we have the Melta, another weapon that just, melts everything, literally. And we are changing up a bunch of class perks here. So you are going to want to go with multi-kill as well as fortitude for the 20% extra health. And I do like to take the additional supplies on the multi, as well as adamant will. So every time I deactivate my halo, I get 20% less health damage, because you are in there a lot more. And then I do switch up to field adjustment for 20% faster charge on my halo. So that is the build that we're gonna go with right there when we are using the multi. And then when we got the Melta perked out right here, I prefer this perk set right for everything, chaos, Tyranids, everything in the game. I always like to go with this effective range one, but if you are going against Tyranid and you want more damage, you could drop that and go with the 10% against Tyranid enemies instead. But this right here is a very strong build. What you're looking for in the Master Crafted is that killing a major level or enemy or higher enemy restores 10% of your maximum ammo. So very important one. And then in the Artificer, you want that 30% extra damage in your heavy stance. And then in Relic, it's really all about that extra ammo reserve. So Melta, very fun to use. It completely changes up the class because it actually lets you get in there and do a bunch of close range damage. So very fun. And then next up, we are going to have, I think this is the most powerful gun in the game. We got the Plasma Incinerator right here. Very similar build setup to the heavy bolter. I do like to take additional supplies in this, but as I said earlier, Bonds of Brotherhood is up to you. And then how we are perking this thing out right here, the important ones we are looking for in the Master Crafted is the energy reserve, as well as the charge shots from the plasma weapons use 2 less energy. So those two are very, very important right there. And then as well as in the Artificer, you want your damage from your charge shot increased. You're going to get 20%. And then in the Relic, I just shoot over for the perfectly timed dodge, because there's really nothing else I could take in the tree. So the Artificer and the Master Crafted are really having the stronger perks. And this gun, guys, if you have a heavy class maxed out, you really have to use this gun. Like I said, I do think this is the strongest gun in the game, and it is a ton of fun to use. And then when I am setting up my secondary weapon, as I said before, I do like to use the plasma pistol, and I like to perk it out in this manner. Now, what are we looking for? Yeah, we're looking for basically the same things that we were looking for on our on the heavy plasma incinerator. So you're looking for some of this charge shot damage down here in the Master Crafted, as well as you're going to have charge shot increases by 10% altogether. And then the main two in the Artificer that you want is the energy reserve, as well as the charge shots from your plasma weapons use 2 less energy. So switching what you're doing, basically, you are just firing on your enemy. Right when you run low on ammo or run out of ammo, you go right to your secondary, fire off some charge shots with this plasma pistol, which does, you know, an insane amount of damage for being a pistol, and then you are right back into your primary weapon doing a ton of damage. So heavy, ton of fun to play. Thanks for checking out the video, guys, and I will catch you on the next one.